So earlier today, I was tweeting my feels about an anime called, I just looked it up, The Pilot's Love Song, or The Love Song of a Certain Pilot, I think is one possible translation. I can't remember the Japanese title at the moment. But I had mentioned that, saying kind of exaggeratedly, it was like they made the series for me with the airships and the sense of adventure and all that. And I said that talking about what that kind of stuff meant to me would be too long for Twitter, and I'd probably make a video about it. And this is going to be that video. And I promise eventually I'll stop making videos where I'm drinking while I'm filming them, but for now, just bear with me. But I can't remember exactly when it started, but I've probably has something to do with my childhood obsession with Superman, but that's probably yet another topic for another time. But I've just always liked, flying, the idea of being able to fly, whether on wings or some sort of self-propelled ability. And it's always kind of made me, I've always kind of equated it with the concept of freedom, not like that, the patriotic American sense of freedom, but just that, I don't know, that sort of I'm, miles up in the air, there's nothing but me here, freedom, I guess. Maybe I equate it with solitude more than freedom, which solitude's something I've always liked. But just anytime there's something like one of the earliest examples I can think of be something like the game Skies of Arcadia, which came out for originally Dreamcast. I mostly replayed the remake on, well, not remake, port, upgraded version, whatever, on GameCube, because I was poor when the Dreamcast came out. But I'm digressing now. No, I just had thought of the sense of adventure, of just being able to go anywhere, and to see just the world around me from a different perspective, like not being stuck, as it were, on the ground. It's always been something that I've just I've been in love with the idea of just one day either figuring out how to fly, possibly take pilot lessons or whatever. I mean it's a thing people do. I wouldn't be able to afford my own plane, not in a million years, but it'd be cool to just be able to take a plane up. But this series came along, and it just reminded me, I guess. It happens every once in a while with, like I said, Skies of Arcadia, the anime Air Gear, where I was like, I don't know what it was about Air Gear specifically. It was like, just kind of the combination of, the main character, probably the fact that the main character liked the idea of flying as much as I did. I think that was really what drove Air Gear home for me. And the series kind of, the quality drops off a bit as the manga goes on. But for a while there, it was up until at least the part of the manga that the anime covers, it's one of my favorites, even if it is, generic and at times overly fan servicey. Just that, the talk of his wings and, trying to find whatever it is he's looking for with air tracks, just really spoke to me. And, like, to the point where I played a slight tangent, but I played World of Warcraft forever. And one of my favorite things that they did was introducing flying mounts, to the point that I started playing again. It was whenever Mists of Pandaria came out, so last October, November, or not last, like 2012, I think. Yeah. I started fresh on a new server just because I hadn't played in years, and I was playing a druid like I always did. And at level 68 now, at the time, long ago, it was level 70 with like a quest attached, but blah blah blah. But at level 68, the druid gets its flight form, and when that happened, my thought, instead of cool I get flight form, was I finally have my wings back, which is kind of telling. I think I go back to World of Warcraft not because of the nostalgia of the, hours and days and weeks I spent, raiding old instances back in the day, but because I could fly around. My character literally transformed into a bird and just flew around. It's also why I started playing Aeon on a fast track server, just so I could, try out the in-game flight system. And the Chinese or Korean MMO Flife, which I think stood for Fly for Fun. I couldn't stick with it long enough for the flight to kick in, but that was another one that I had tried, just, to fly around in a fantasy type setting. It's just always been one of those things with me. Like, even there's that study, or that question, I guess they've done studies around it, but it was, if you had the choice between being invisible and being able to fly, which would you choose? And the overwhelming choice and at least the one study about it I read was to be invisible, because there's always times where you just wish that everyone's looking at you, but you wish they weren't. And everyone, like, more people wish that they could, just disappear when they were embarrassed. And me, every time, flight. Like, invisibility would be alright. I wouldn't get in trouble with it. I guess that's kind of the point. But, not even the spectacle of it, just the flying around, seeing everything, putting everything into perspective of how small everything really is. No matter how big the problems on the ground seem, you fly up high enough, everything's just dots. But yeah, this went on a bit longer than I kind of expected this to go on for a while. Yeah, I want to do more videos like this. I like this. I like just with or without the, whiskey, but just talking about things to the camera more so than whatever it is I've been trying to do. I don't even know anymore. Yeah. Until next time.